So guys, while I'm here, I thought I may as well turn this into a video for YouTube, but so today me and Idris got up to some free jumping. He's probably done it before in his life because he was really good at it. Better than I thought he would be, which was nice. We then gave him a little bath, so he's drying off at the minute. But yeah, I'll probably insert the clips, make a little edit, or do like a talk through of it all, because it's quite interesting to see how he approaches everything. We also learned how to do liberty circles today, which I wasn't planning on teaching him for a very long time. So I'm really proud of him for that. So there'll probably be a voice-overed video for that. But yeah, I did that today because I was doing some groundwork with him yesterday and managed to dislocate my arm. My arm's a bit screwed, it always has been, so I wasn't really that surprised when it happened, but it hurt really badly. So currently it's a bit floppy and I'm having to wear a massive jumper because I can't wear anything else. But yeah, so we're just chilling now, a little grazing while we dry off, and so yeah, on with the intro. Hey guys, so it's Idris and Me, and today I'm just sort of doing a voiceover for my free jumping session that I did with Idris today, and as you can see here, he is offering some liberty circles, which we don't, I haven't taught him, I haven't wanted to train it for him for a while. This was after he'd been offering them for a while, so I decided I'd catch it on film. As you can see, I bring him back into me. Once I give him the cue, when I stop walking, he comes to me. So he's doing it again here on a bit more of a larger circle. He's going around the poles. Yeah, I have one of my arms out to guide him round, and I have a lunge whip that I use as the extension of my arm. Here he got a bit distracted and decided to wander off. But that's normal in training. Sometimes he finds something different to do, gets a bit distracted. So here I'm just trying to get him to trot on, just to listen, to come back to my circle and come back to listening to me, which he did really nicely. So here you can see he's come back onto the circle and he's actually started listening to me a bit more. He's come into a bit of a smaller circle. I also asked him to canter because we are warming up for free jumping and he needs to be warmed up. But here he did some really nice canter liberty work, which, as you can see, I am chasing him a bit, but obviously it is a lot harder to do canter on a liberty circle. And as I say, I back off, he backs off too. I was really impressed with him actually, for coming back, because normally when I free school horses, I've always had bad experiences because they just run a million miles an hour. So here I'm trying to get him to go onto the other rein. This isn't his strongest rein, he likes to go a bit larger on this rein, but we ended up working on it, so I tried to get him into canter so that we can warm up for our free jumping, which he really enjoyed, so I'm really glad that I decided to do this today. As you can see, here he comes back to me once I give the cue, and I treat him. So we start off with a tiny little cross, just to get him going. We then go and adjust it. I have to take him with me because Idris has a weird thing of eating my phone and my keys, which is always a bit annoying, but it's quite funny. So then I take him over towards the jump because he tends to just cut off where the tunnel is. So instead of, and then the pole fell down, which I did pick up. But he tends to just cut off the tunnel instead of actually going round, which he jumped these two fences quite nicely, and obviously here he is trying to eat my phone as I set it up. So I put it up as a little cross, and jumped it really nicely. And then a little bit, yep, and then the cross again. He jumped that really nice. And then a little bit bigger into an oxer, jumped it really good. I was running with him, so he was actually connected to me as we were doing this, which was really good fun actually. He jumped that real good, and then again, really nicely, landing on the right leg, which was what I was trying to achieve. So here I'm going back to the jump, wondering how on earth I would jump that. I probably wouldn't do that on my horse, but I've made it a bit bigger. And here he comes around really nicely and just pops it, which is really surprising for me. So here's me telling him to go away from my phone, which he tends to try and eat it. So I'm here just pulling the jump out a little bit, making it a bit wider so that he stretches a bit more for the jump, because he's finding it far too easy. This jump's about, I want to say, 85, 90. Like, it's a decent sized fence for him. And like he does, the pole fell down, but we were at the top and I was ready to go, so I just said, you know what, he won't run out. And he didn't. So I was at the top and I said, okay, right, you ready, let's go. And I ran down with him and he hopped the fence really nicely, and that I ended it there because he was super and just did everything I said. And here I'm cooling off in the trot and we're doing our Liberty circles again, and as you can see, he is actually doing really well with it. He's really starting to grasp the concept of the circle instead of sort of staying with me. He still gets distracted, still doesn't really understand what I'm wanting from him, but he slowly comes into his own and starts to understand. We can do them a bit bigger, as I say. I back off there. He walks off, but then realises that he needs to come back, and comes back for a treat, which is good, and stops and waits for the treat. And then I decided, let's do it on the other rein. And Idris is a bit particular about his reins. He didn't really want to go on this rein, so decided to go on this rein, which is just what Idris does. It's Idris. But the good, the bad, and the ugly here, like, it's not always perfect, and he's cantering off there because I asked him to come back. But it's always the good, the bad, and the ugly. You can't always be perfect, and he's not always perfect, and I'm not always perfect. We're learning together. So here I'm just asking him to come back so we can reevaluate and reconnect instead of panicking like we normally do. So I get him to come forwards instead of me having to go to him. And then I decide, you know what, I'll keep you a bit closer instead of having a really big circle. So I just ask him to move around my body, and he gets it really well. I'm using the lunge line as an extension of my arm because he finds it quite difficult to keep going. And here he got a bit too close, so the circle got a bit smaller, but he managed to fix it. And there he does stop, but I offer the treat, as he was doing what he was supposed to be doing. He was getting closer to the Liberty circle, but he was finding it a bit difficult. So here we go again. I'm asking him to go out a bit more, and he's actually really getting it, and he's really doing well. And like he said, he comes back here, he gets a bit close, so the trot gets cut off. I just give him a little tap, and he encourages him to move forwards again, and he keeps going forwards and working around my body. And then I give the cue, I back off, and he comes in. And I reward him. And then I decided, well, let's try it on the next rein, because this is the rein he'd like to go a bit further on, and Idris had other ideas. He wanted to go back on this rein, so I made use of it and asked him onto the circle, which he took pretty well. I then asked him to spin, thinking, oh, this would be clever if he did that. And he did it actually pretty nicely. He didn't stay as close to me as he would with the other one, but that's standard, so it's okay. He likes to be a bit further away on these circles than he does close to me, as it's not his strongest rein anyway, even ridden. So he keeps going really nicely in the trot. And I back off, ask for the cue, and he comes into me. And stops. And obviously I reward, I give him some fuss, and we end the session there. And then after Idris's great efforts, I decided to give him a bath, which I have now time-lapsed, because did you even bath your horse if you don't do a time-lapse? But yeah, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video, so on with the outro.